Hello and good evening, everybody. When we are discussing the one-year MBA programs in India, we have a niche program offered by IIM Indore, which is the EPGP program. This is a full-time residential program which ranks in the FT MBA Ranking 2023 as well. So the intake of this program is selective and so is the cohort. The application requirements and the criteria are also unique for this program. There are many unanswered questions around this program that we would be discussing today. And to discuss these questions, we have Professor Saurabh Chandra, Chairperson EPGP IIM Indore, and Mr. Jitendra, Mr. Satyendra from the admissions team, along with Mr. Anil from the IIM Indore EPGP team, with us to share their thoughts on the structure of the program, the admissions requirements, and the career outcomes from the program. We thank our audience for joining us here and welcome you to share your questions in the chat, and we would be taking them up with the IIM Indore EPGP team. Please keep on sharing the questions in the chat. And thank you, sir, for joining us and for taking out the time on Sunday and when we have a live match also going on. And I understand it is a huge trade-off, but thanks once again. I would now hand it over to Professor Chandra to discuss about the program, the structure, and what it has to offer for the audience.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this live webinar. So let me tell you something about the program. So this is this we call Executive Postgraduate Program in Management, and this is we award a Masters of Business Administration for this. This is a one-year full-time residential program. By the way, am I audible clearly?
Yes.
Okay, so basically this consists of multiple modules. Like first we start with an orientation module because we understand that many of you have been working for some years at least. So 5 years is our minimum requirement and you must be out of touch with the basics. So we go for an orientation program. Then there is a core curriculum which is taught over a span of 10 11 months roughly. And then in this program we have something called industry consulting module where participants go to nearby industries and then they work on projects, live projects. We also have a very famous international immersion program, a part of this, where at present we send our students to SDA Bocconi for a month-long program. And then there is an advanced analytics workshop which happens around fifth or sixth term of this course, and this comprises of multiple core and elective courses of various management areas, and students choose them as per their choices. And we also have a very strong component of simulation based learning where live simulation tools are used to demonstrate business topics. So roughly 121 I mean 113 to 121 credits are required to complete this course, where one credit is roughly 75 minutes of a class hour. Teaching hours are almost like 706 plus hours, which makes this program pretty what you can say. It requires some sort of commitment from the participant side, and this industry consulting module spans something like term 1 to term 3, and this goes on along 2 to 3 terms. As I said, this international immersion at SDA Bocconi, I mean, this is the current partner we have, lasts for almost like 4 weeks, and this is roughly 18 credits. So if you talk about the admission eligibility, this program is open to all nationalities. However, you need to have at least 50% 4-year bachelor degree or master's degree, bachelor degree. So if you have a 3 years bachelor degree, you need a master's degree as well with 50% marks, or you must have a 5-year integrated program with 50% marks minimum. So this time we are asking for all GMAT, GRE, CAT scores, and GMAT, GRE score should be within 5 years from the date of application. And yeah, so CAT and GRE we have brought back, I mean, after some time. So last year we were taking only GMAT. So this year, to give more opportunities to the budding students, we thought maybe introduce some more admission admission scores. And yeah, so basically the idea is that you should have minimum 5 year of managerial, entrepreneurial, or professional experience after your graduation. And basically we give 50-50 weightage to this test score, which is either GMAT, GRE, or CAT, and personal interviews, which is also weighted 50% with the same with the test score. So after that we create a shortlist, and final shortlist is shared with the students. And the admission process has already started. We already published the advertisement on 4th of October, and the first phase will last till 30th November, and second phase will start January 15th. And around for phase one, we will announce the personal interview shortlist around December 11, and 25th January we will announce the phase two personal interview shortlist. And interview dates are roughly 16 to 17 December for phase one, and for phase two it is Feb 3rd to 4th. And we will roll out the admission offers by around 5th January for phase one and 23rd February for phase two. And the last date for accepting of HET, this is something which will happen later, but around we will give you around 15-20 days to accept the offer, and eventually the program registration and admission will start on 5th of April. So this is roughly our admission timeline this year, and April 8th we will start the classes for the coming batch. If you talk about the overall snapshot of this program, so as we already told you, like there is the most important aspects of this one-year MBA program are the industry consulting module, analytics focused, simulation based learning, our international immersion program with one of the best international business schools in the world, which is SDA Bocconi. And if you talk about the batch we get, so it is a very potent mix of different sectors. Like we get almost equal participation of IT sector, energy sector, manufacturing, ed tech, automotive, fashion, retail, BFSI. So every batch is a mix of students from various backgrounds, which gives a very nice classroom atmosphere where you learn more from your peers rather than just from the faculty members. And in terms of functional area expertise, we get engineers, consultants, sales guys, operations, project management people, finance background people. So this is the overall mix we get, and this is pretty widespread. One of the best things about this program is this one-year MBA program in India has been consistently ranked in Financial Times global rankings. So we had stood 89th rank last time, and we also have NIRF ranking of 8th as per the last ranking. And in terms of male female ratio, we are currently a bit low on the female side, just 20% of the batch. But yeah, since it's an executive batch, so we don't have any extra incentive for diversification, because anyway it's a highly diversified batch. But we would wish more for female participant for sure. In terms of recruitment, we have been very lucky, and industry has shown a lot of, you can say, yeah, students have shown a lot of potential, which has been responded well by the industry. So we have recruiters from all top companies in India, and past employers employed as SBC, Deloitte, Indian Oil, SAIL, so PSUs, TCS, consulting firms, banks, and all. So pretty widespread. A lot of companies come for such a small batch. So an average work experience was around 8.5 years. So roughly this remains the same across the years. We have around 7 to 8 years of work ex on an average. So most students lie between 5 to 8 years, and some of the students have some higher work experience. So this is like if you talk about the placement highlights, like last year we had 57 participants, almost 69 companies participated in the placements, 160 plus roles were offered. So you can imagine every student had almost like two offers in hand. So that was the kind of placement we had. And some participants opted out of the campus placements because either they were on a sabbatical, went back to their firms, or they applied outside the campus or went for a startup. So average CTC for top percentile was around 35 lakhs, and for top 50 percentile was around 33 lakhs, and for the entire batch it was around 30 lakhs, and for females it was like 29 lakhs, and highest was 44 lakhs on an average. So this is a brief snapshot in quick go. I told a lot of things, but yeah, yeah. So thanks for Anilji for preparing such a brief and condensed note. Yeah. So this is from my side. You can ask anything you want.
Yes, so we already have the questions coming in. So there's one question from Ahmed. He's asking whether there is an EWS category application for this program. So are the reservations taken into account? How does it work?
No, for this EPGP program, we don't consider any kind of reservation. They are open only for international and domestic Indian applicants. There are no reservations like general, NCOBC, EWS. So there is no reservation norms are followed in EPGP.
Right. And I have a question which somebody asked previously, whether there is an average GMAT or GRE to benchmark your scores against. What
There
should
is
one
no,
consider as an average?
yeah, not such a particular average GMAT GRE score. Generally, in the last 2 years, we have had a cutoff of 550 for GMAT score, and GRE we have introduced this year after some long period. So GRE will be taken after the application deadline is closed. Our committee will take a call. What is the cutoff?
Right. And a question about the modalities of the application process. So, how do we officially report the GRE score? Since there is no official code mentioned for the same on the website or the ATS website, what do they actually select to do that?
Okay, just a minute. My colleague will answer that. Just a minute. Satyan, you are on a mute.
I'm audible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Ma'am, for GMAT, we have given this code. And for GRE, we can have this, offline score first, then we can verify the online later on.
Okay. So they need to attach the screenshot of their GRE scores, and for verification, the school will reach out to them.
Yeah, we'll reach here.
All right. So Shreya, I think this answers your question. There was another question from Sid. He's asking about how does the GMAT focus and the classic edition, how will these be compared? There is a change in the scoring methodology.
Yeah.
So what is the benchmark?
Yeah, so for GMAT classic score, we have a range of 200 to 800 marks. And for the focus edition, we have a range of 205 to 805. So what we'll do, we'll scale up the score according to the maximum marks and the marks obtained by the candidates. So we'll scale that up.
So will that be according to the GMAT conversion that is available for the GMAT focus to the actual GMAT? Is that the
No,
reference?
not to the actual GMAT. GMAT focus will be calculated separately, and GMAT classic
Okay.
edition will be calculated separately as per the previous procedures. And we'll give the same weightage to both the scores, 50% weightage.
Okay. And when we say that the GRE is also going to be considered, will it be converted to the GMAT, or GRE will be taken up as a standalone score? So for evaluation purposes, will the GRE be converted to the equivalent GMAT score, or GRE
No,
applicants have a separate?
GRE will also be considered as a separate, not converted into GMAT.
Okay. And Ankit has a question about GMAT again, sir, which apart from the GMAT and work experience, is there any other factor which is responsible for admission?
Yeah, so I'll take that up. So basically, as I told you, so for admission, there is a 50% weightage of test score and 50% weightage of personal interviews. So yeah, so apart from your score and work ex, we also see the score of your personal interviews. So that's also considered equally. So I think that's, if that answers your question.
Yes. And there was another question previously, sir. What about the entrepreneur? So what is what is the documentation that they have to submit, and how is their work experience evaluated?
Satyan, you please answer this.
Coming in, what's the question again?
Work experience for entrepreneur candidates.
And the
Yeah,
proofs
so
or the
I mean,
documentation that they have to submit. I'm sorry.
so if you are owner of the company, then make sure that you get it signed from either a senior employee or a co-founder. Don't give your own signed work ex. So if it is a officially registered firm, of course it should be like that. Officially registered firm, and you should give a proof which, so either get it from a gazetted officer or so what is that? Don't sign it yourself generally. So that is not considered as a work ex proof. So either from a co-founder or a senior manager in your firm, or from a gazetted officer. So make sure it is considered officially. So that you have to take care. So entrepreneur experience is perfectly okay with us, no problem.
And for the salary proofs, they can submit the ITR. I think that should
Yeah.
be
So yeah, for their own firm, they can submit the ITR. Yes.
right.
There is a
So
very
there are
interesting
questions
question
about.
by Nikhil. Yeah, Nikhil
Yes, I
Dixit,
just
if we are
forgot.
selected and I am Lucknow too, then why Indore can be a better option? So the only answer to this is that I am Lucknow is not a Financial Times ranked institute. We are. So yeah, that's the answer I'll give you.
So Nikhil, you have an answer.
I mean, they
I'm
have a
pretty
rank, but
damn.
our ours is better than theirs. So that's the answer to your question.
Right. There is another question about the batch intake, sir. So we would like to know about the class profile and also in terms of, what does the school look for when they're looking at a mix of professionals? Is there an upper limit on the work experience or the age? What are the thoughts here?
So generally there is a lower limit, no such an upper limit. So when it comes to batch size, I think maximum we will go to 60, 70, something like. Every year we decide based on the requirements we have. But yeah, so roughly around 50 to 60 we take, depending on the pool we get. So we don't compromise below a certain level. So that's why if you see last year we had a fewer batch size because we just don't hire for the sake of it. But our maximum limit is around 60s. So because of the infrastructure limitations we have now in terms of hostels and all. And when it comes to age, there is no upper limit. But I mean, those with very high work ex like 20 years may be discouraged. Although we don't say no, but we will check in the interviews whether depending also if their work ex is okay, and depending on how much suitability we feel in terms of their suitability with the program, we will okay allow it. But yeah, so there is no upper limit officially, but there is a lower limit for sure. Yeah. So if that answers this question.
Yes. And another question about the weightage for the extracurricular activities and whether it is fixed for the entrance exam and fixed 50% for the interview. Then there are
So
other components like the essays.
okay, so no, so there is no such extra marks for curricular activity. Though while in personal interviews, if they feel that if the panelists feel ki your extracurricular activities are something which makes you more suitable, then of course it will matter there. But additionally, we don't have a score for that.
So on the initial onset, you submit the complete information and then it is discussed in the personal interview, which is where it will have an
Yeah.
impact. Right. So is there any word limit for the essays? A procedural question.
Yes, someone from the
No,
admission.
there is no word limit. There is no word limit for
Is
that.
there a suggested limit as to where one should stop? Because people will then be
Ideally,
tempted to write pages and
1,000
pages.
between 800 to 1,000 words are enough to express the things.
Two pages
Two
roughly.
pages. Two
Two
pages.
pages, yeah.
Right, Shreya, I think this answers your question. Okay, I have a question about are there any scholarships which are offered to the applicants?
अनिल जी कुछ है क्या? If there are any
Madam, there are no scholarships offered from the institute side for the EPGP program because it's an executive program. So that's why there is no scholarship. Only thing is that while taking admission, there is a assistance from the bank side, which is available on the campus SBI branch. So they can avail loan from that particular branch, but that is between candidate and the bank. No scholarship from the institute side.
Right. So there was another question, sir, previously that was that because the criteria is 4 years degree, so can a 3-year BCom graduate with a CA or a CFA, does he qualify?
Yes.
as per the current rules, unfortunately not.
Okay. Right. If we have started a business along with the job in the name of a family member, then what proofs need to be submitted?
So yeah, that's what I said. No, so make sure it is signed by a co-founder of the company, and even better by certified by a gazetted officer. So whatever work proof. So don't give yourself signed document. That does not work. So it should be so it should show
Self-declaration will not
that
work.
so it should show it as a registered firm, and yeah, so that's how you prove your this thing. And make sure that is conveyed properly because I have seen one student facing problems because of this exact issue. So he worked in his own company, and then he had given us his own signed certificate, and eventually when it was found, the student had to leave the program. I mean, not here at IIM Indore, but somewhere else.
Okay.
So yeah, so make sure ki you give a properly certified version. Okay.
And
Correct.
one more thing I would like to add in this thing that experience and that business period should not be overlapped.
Hmm.
Simultaneously, we cannot accept these both the things.
Also, like if you're doing BCom and you show ki you were working for 3 years, that will not be accepted.
Yeah.
There are
Right,
many
sir.
people from business families, they show ki they were working from last 6 years, and as per the certificate they have been studying BCom for these 3 years, so that is also not considered. So it should be exclusive of your educational experience.
It should be after completion of graduation only, and only the full-time work experience is considered. No part-time.
You should have a proper rank in your position in your firm. Like even if it's your firm, you should have a proper position like general manager or something like that. Anything. So you can't just say I was working there and something like that. So you should have a proper certified position which you're holding in your firm.
Right. And what are the aspects which are important for the interview process? And another allied question.
Yeah, so if I take this up, so there is no such general rule, but see, I mean, eventually we would like to see how suitable you are for the corporate world, because the thing is that regardless of how much we try to train, so eventually some things are like basic qualities which are required to be in a future corporate leader. So that's basically what we check. So basic communication skills, general knowledge, and one of the things we see is how good you are in whatever you are doing. So if you're, let's say, a project manager in, let's say, BHEL, so we want to see how serious you are about your job. That's something we want to see. How serious you were about your previous education. So if you're an electronics engineer and if I ask you a simple question like what is a transistor, and you say I don't know, so that is considered very bad. So that should not happen. So we don't expect you to answer them hardcore technical questions, but we just want to see how serious you have been in whatever you have done so far in your life. So that's something we see, and of course, communication skill, general knowledge. So like any typical interviews. So make sure that you are okay with your educational experience. You know about your work ex, of course, which you are supposed to. So this is basically broadly what we see in the interviews, personal interviews.
Right, sir. Another additional part to this question is there any VAT component? So is there a spoken, written VAT component to the interview?
No, the VAT component is not there in the interviews. Only personal interviews will be there, and the panel members expect a minimum performance in the personal interviews to be selected for the next stage.
Right, sir. Amit has a question. I have around 11 years of experience. Is it a negative having too much of experience?
Not exactly 11 years is okay. So something 15 plus may be a problem, but even having said that, last year batch we had someone who had like 25-year work ex, right? I mean, and even he, so it took some time to get him placement, but eventually he got a good placement. So 11 years is not that bad actually.
Right. And a lot of applicants, they are looking for career transition. So how does the school support them in terms of the career transition goals, and what is the career preparation that they have access to during the year at the program?
So yes, every year we have, so out of 40-50 students which we get, almost 50% do look for career transition, and most of them actually are successfully able to do that. So basically you choose your courses accordingly. So for example, if you are currently working in project management and you want to enter into, let's say, supply chain consulting, so you choose your courses accordingly and develop your profile within 1 year, do those kind of projects with the industry. So, and then eventually you build your skills in such a way that you are suitable for that kind of role. And if you are already working at a very high salary in a, let's say, a particular profile, you may expect a bit of salary cut if you're looking for a very extreme transition that way. It may not be very easy, but then it does happen. So every year, as I said, some students go for career transition and they successfully do that. So the only thing is that they may not get a delta which they expect, but other than that, they are able to switch it for sure.
Right, sir.
Sir, I would like to
Terms
add
of
here
the-
that
Yes.
Shruti, I would like to add here that in the previous batches we had candidates from PSUs and different other fields who looked for career switch from one field to another, and they successfully changed their field, especially from PSU to corporate. And we have witnessed a few batches in the past that they are able to. And at the same time, our placement office helps a lot in taking these decisions. Means once the candidate has made his mind that he or she is looking for a career switch, then at the same time our placement office is providing pre-placement talks and pre-placement interviews. They are providing all sort of counseling, and they understand the requirement of the candidate and accordingly prepare the candidate for the interviews. So those things are also there. So this helps candidate in the placement process.
Yeah. So there is another follow-up question on this, whether there is any focused or preferred industry or sector which is possible post MBA. So what is the kind of industries that the program attracts in terms of
So,
recruiters?
yeah, so basically, so typical managerial roles like consulting, banking, sales, marketing, operations. So most of the typical companies like Aditya Birla, HSBC, Deloitte, PwC. So many firms do come here. So so those who come in placement are typical firms which pick up from most business schools. But if you're looking for a very specific profile, let's say someone with an experience in finance, sorry, fashion designing is looking for a job, let's say in uh, some a very big fashion brand, then probably that kind of company may not come, or you have to apply from outside. But most general MBA positions do come here, and companies hire from there. So we have a long
Right.
list of companies which you can check out on our website if you want to see.
Right.
So there is no such focused or preferred industries, but yeah, most of the offers are given by consulting firms. Consulting firms, most of the offers, some, and then general management roles by other companies. This is generally
Okay.
what we see everywhere.
Right. And Ayush has a question in this, in tune of this only. Does a 7-year experience in the government of India is a hindrance for somebody from a finance background if he wants to go
It
to
sounds
investment
like
banking?
a good thing to me because if you have a government experience with finance, so many consulting firms may like to hire you because they want someone with who has knowledge about the government because most of the consulting firms have big projects for the government. So to me, this sounds like a plus thing, not really a hindrance actually, if you ask me.
Right. Ayush, I think this answers your question. You have a good shot at it. You should give it a try. And about alumni engagement. So once
But
somebody
yeah, just to add
graduates,
to that, but try to get a sabbatical for the safe side because in the end of the day, this is a lateral placement. So this is a executive MBA. So it's not like a fresher MBA or a typical 2-year MBA where people go anywhere for whatever job they get. So this is more like a lateral placement. So you get a job in typically your area of expertise, or even if you're changing, it's more like a experienced kind of. So I don't know, am I able to say it clearly? But preferably, if you're working in government, try for a sabbatical. Don't leave your job if possible. But yeah, it's up to you eventually. Yeah, we can go ahead.
correct. And in the process, sir, is it a benefit if they are coming with a sabbatical? Do they get an edge if
No,
somebody
no,
is
no. They
applying with
don't
a
get an
sabbatical?
edge, but they are on the safe side basically. So yeah, so especially if they are working in a government, why should they leave it if it's not really required?
Correct. Nikhil has a question. What is the approximate intake in each round? He is opting for the GMAT focus. So he'll be applying in round 2. So do we have equal opportunity?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, so eventual selection will be based on the complete list, not separate phases. So separate phases are just to ensure that people get enough time to apply, and then also to ensure that there is parity with other institutes because they also offer similar programs. So otherwise, the eventual shortlist will be decided based on the both the rounds together. So it's not that phase one will have a higher chance than phase two. No. So both the phases combined, we will prepare a shortlist after that actually.
Correct. And in terms of the alumni engagement and once students graduate, what is the kind of, going back to school, continued learning? What are the
Yes,
initiatives which are taken up by
we
the
have a
program?
good alumni office. We have a good alumni network. So yeah, so we here hold our alumni reunions. So last year we had a first batch coming to the campus. So yeah, we do maintain a good alumni network for us for our all the batches pretty much.
Sir, we also have a student body which is called Alumni Committee. So, EPGP program has a different committees based on the student activities. So, one that committee is Alumni Committee. So, that committee is headed by maybe 3 to 4 participants, and they coordinate with our alumni office for different alumni activities throughout the year.
Right. So is it
No,
better to apply with the GMAT or the CAT? Are there any preferences for any exams?
No,
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 no.
there are no preferences. All the exams are similar. We'll scale up the scores of all the exams and we'll put on the same platform.
Okay. For the CAT applicants, then in that case, is there a cutoff that they should consider for this program?
No, cutoff will be decided only after the closing of application deadline.
Okay. So right now they cannot evaluate. They
No.
just need to apply and then
Yeah.
go ahead with the.
Yes, sir. They just have to wait.
One,
Yeah.
one
Okay.
thing I would like to add here. Last year means on the basis of last year application we received, we have taken 550 score of GMAT, and last year also the same. So you may take the decision according to that.
Okay. Shrey Bahadur has a question. Traditionally, do you have many candidates coming from the real estate or the construction background?
No,
Sir,
not
in case
many.
you could share a class profile also, a mix of the diversity that is there in the
So
class.
not many students from construction sector per se. So a major chunk from IT, followed by energy sector, then manufacturing, followed by ed tech, automotive, fashion, BFSI. So construction industry, not many. Maybe one or two in some batches, but not many. So it's not something we get very frequently, as far as I remember. Anilji, I mean, do you agree to that?
Yes, sir. Generally, in a particular batch, we get 1 or 2 candidates in a batch from civil, means real estate or construction field.
Okay. So this adds to the diversity of the class, but as such, it doesn't form a majority of the class.
Do's and
And
don'ts.
is applying early a benefit? Is there any benefit of applying early, or they can wait till the deadline to submit? What are some do's and don'ts for applicants?
For the application process, just mention, just keep in mind 3-4 points that do not put your part-time experience or internship experience in the work experience. Okay, and the work experience should be 5 years. In some cases, there are some few days or few months less than 5 years. So candidates apply and they expect that they will be called for interview. So the minimum requirement is 5 years of experience. And along with that, the educational experience, educational qualifications, as Professor Saurabh Chandra has already said, that you should have a 4-year bachelor degree or a 3-year bachelor degree with master degree in 50%, or a 5-year integrated degree with 50%.
And applying in round 1 or round 2. So there are
That doesn't matter.
there are some cases where an applicant, he has a degree which is part time, and he has actually been working full time. So how does he present this case on the application form?
So I think
So a lot of programs, they give open distance learning programs which are offering degrees wherein the applicants are working full time, and they almost get the degree simultaneously by the time they are applying. So in that case, how will it work for them? It will not be counted as work experience.
No, work experience should be counted only after completion of the degree. Once the candidate is submitting the degree, the duration of the experience should be post that duration. That will not be considered. Along with the education qualification, work experience will not be considered.
And if it is after your, let's say after the undergrad, let's say it is a master's degree in part time and this in full time, work experience in full time, in that case, similar.
Yeah, after bachelor degree is acceptable.
Okay. Nikhil has a question. Is the placement process student driven or college governed? In case
both.
you would
So we
expand
have
on
a
the.
placement committee as well, and then there is a very competent placement office as well with very competent staff. So yeah, so it's mostly student driven, but the placement office provides a lot of support.
Right. I think, Nikhil, this answers your question. And, sir, in terms of building your resume, working towards let's say somebody has an admit and he's working towards joining the program and has certain career goals in mind. What are the kind of activities that he should be involved in before he joins the program in support of the EPGP, so that he can achieve the career goals? What are the challenges that applicants usually face, and how can they overcome it?
Okay, so I mean the thing is that as soon as we get or they get offers, we, as I said, we provide a orientation course to them. So whatever pre-learnings are required, we provide that. But other than that, basically, I mean, if you ask me what are requirements for a successful business corporate executive. So basic communication skills, and and there are plethora of courses online, so you can do any one of them, whichever area you are interested in. So for example, if you're interested in finance, you may go for those certifications like CFA and all if you want. But other than that, whatever requirements are there from our side, share with you an orientation course, orientation module, which you have to do yourself before you actually join us. Yeah, so this is what we have to say about this.
This is the question that we had, sir, from one of the applicants in the offline mode. A very interesting question in case you would like to take it up. Why does the EPGP process start so late as compared to the other schools?
Yeah, so admissions office may take this up.
Generally our admission process starts in the month of September, first week of September. But this year, due to some changes in our admission procedures, the process got delayed by 1 month. So we started on 28th of September. So this year it got delayed. Otherwise, every year it starts in the first week of September.
Actually, as I told you, this year we have diversified our admission test pool. So last year we took only GMAT. So there were some other changes also proposed, but so basically there were discussions going on around those things, which took time actually. That's why we got delayed this time. Otherwise, as Jitendra ji said, we started it early actually. We generally start earlier.
Right. Are there any specializations which are offered as a part of the program, or is it a general management program?
No, so the degree is general MBA, but yes, one can choose their courses accordingly. So, for example, if you are interested in finance, they go for finance electives. Those who are interested in sales, they go for marketing electives like that. But the degree is not a specialization degree. They get an MBA degree, all of them.
Right. And basis this degree, they can apply further to PhD programs as well if they want to?
Yes, of course. Yes. Yeah.
Right. Great. I think so. We don't have any more questions. We have taken up the list of questions. The audience, in case you have any further questions, please share. Feel free to share that over here, or you can get in touch with the admissions team directly as well, and they will be available to take up those questions. Is there any age limit? Pranav, we discussed this. There was no age limit, sir. In case you would like to take it up.
There is no age limit, as such. There is, of course, a lower age limit. Low work X rather, not so much of an age limit. But anyway, so if you have too much of work X, then it may be a problem, a bit of a problem. But otherwise, we don't say no to higher work X. But yes, ideally, 5 to 15 years is something which is okay. But beyond that may be an issue. But as I said last year, we had a person who had a very long experience, and he got better offer than what he was earlier working. So yes, we don't say no. That's what I'm saying. But yes, it may be a challenge for more than 15 years, so to say.
A theoretical question, in case you would like to take it up, what are some basic or common things you found missing in the aspirants while interviewing? And can we expect any one of you? So basically, who comprises the interview panel? Is it the faculty or the alumni?
I can't reveal too many details, but yes, generally when it comes to executive programs like EPGP, we don't face too many issues with the applicants. So most of the applicants are, because they have already worked for 5 years, so they have certain mindset, they know communications, they know how to express themselves. Generally these issues arise when we actually try to go for, let's say, regular MBA or 2 year or our IPM program. But for EPGP, it's not so much. So it's not, I can't say what exactly we find missing from the candidates. So most of them are okay. So probably we might reject someone when we see that he or she has exceptionally poor communication skills. That may be one reason, or he has absolutely no knowledge about what he or she, because see, in the end of the day, the coursework is tough. So there are 700 hours roughly of coursework you have to do, and you have to pass all the courses successfully. So yes, we do want to see, okay, whoever is joining, he or she has that kind of competence. Yeah, so that's something we look for. So yeah, these are the two situations where someone may be rejected, but otherwise most of the candidates are actually good.
And procedural question here. There is no column for the GMAT focus in the drop down while filling up the form. So how can they fill up these scores?
Satyanji, take up the question.
Yes. GMAT focus, we can comment that comes under GMAT only. So whoever the applicant wanted to fill up the form through GMAT focus, they can opt the GMAT from the drop down.
Okay. There is a percentage column in the GMAT or the GRE, for the GMAT or the GRE in the application form. Is it the percentile that is being referred to?
No, it is percentage only. So it is a percentage of candidates who have obtained the marks and out of total marks. So it is percentage only, not percentile.
For GMAT and GRE as well, sir?
Yeah, for both.
Yes.
Okay. Right, sir. I think we have overshot the time that we had discussed about. And thank you so much for your inputs today, for taking out the time. And thank you, the audience, for sharing your questions. I hope we have been able to take up all the questions and in time as well. And all the best for your application process. Feel free to reach out to the admissions team. They will be there to address your questions. You should always write an email or get in touch for any questions that you have.
Yes.
Right. Thank you,
Sure.
sir.
Thank you.
And
Okay.
good evening.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
Shruti.
Shruti, and hope to do a few more sessions maybe in the next 2 to 3 months, if possible, from your side. So we will maybe schedule one more session with more details.
We'll do that, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Thank
Thank
you.
you.